I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. The holidays are here and they may look a little different this year, but we can aim to make new traditions, creating unforgettable memories. Get into the spirit of the season by taking a trip back in time to the 2018 A Manor Christmas presented by Concordia University.
A Manor Christmas was filled with pomp and grandeur.
There's 3 events going on today. Tours at the historic Earhart Manor and Greenhouse, the Christmas market in the European fashion, food and entertainment in a vendor's tent, and then the Boar's Head Festival in the evening.
The historic Earhart Manor, built from 1934 to 1936, boasts amenities uncommon to the era.
It was one of the first ones outside of Detroit that had air conditioning. It had lights that would turn on in the closets when you open the door. It had alarm system and music piped through the building. It had rainwater and well water. It had showers with many spigots. It was just an extraordinary building.
After touring the estate, guests enjoyed a European-style market and entertainment galore.
We have unique vendors that are picked specifically because they have handmade items or they have natural items.
We've had a couple local grade school choirs and bands. We just had Milan High School Chamber Choir, and now we're going to end up having Don Wharton play, a professional musician.
Our Boar's Head Festival, and that's an old English festival or tradition of eating the boar, which is overcoming, a symbol of overcoming sin. And the Boar's Head Festival has been going on for 41 years now, and it is a wonderful pageant with beautiful music, costuming, and acting that goes on. So all of those things put together we call A Manor Christmas.
The city has a quick and easy service available to report problems that may arise in Ann Arbor, like potholes, streetlight repair, and trash pickup issues. Learn more about A2 Fix It in this month's City Roundup in 60.
Hello, my name is Robert Keller with the City of Ann Arbor, here to tell you a quick and easy way to report problems to the city that you need to get fixed. Problems like potholes, streetlight outages, or snow or ice on sidewalks or streets. It's called A2 Fix It. A2 Fix It is a tool you can access online. Just simply go to a2gov.org/A2Fixit or download the app for your smartphone. Now keep in mind, A2 Fix It isn't for everything. A2 Fix It isn't for emergencies, crime issues, or flooding or water problems. But for practically everything else, A2 Fix It is your best and easy way to let us know you need something fixed.
There's nothing better than the delectable taste of a handcrafted chocolate. And one Michigan native knows firsthand as she traveled the world to perfect her artistry and bring some one-of-a-kind chocolates right here to the Mitten State. Bon 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 Noodle Nichols Arcade in the downtown boasts flavor profiles that Vanity Fair proclaims only a stoned Willy Wonka could dream up. Joining me is Alex Clark, founding chocolatier of Bon Bon Bon. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
I'd like to know a little bit about you because you're the one that started all of this. And how did you sort of get into the world of being a chocolatier? It just seems like such a strange thing that, like, I've never met anyone that.
You know what? I feel like nobody ever told me not to. It's funny, my family all really loves chocolate. My dad's side of the family especially. And it took me until I was 26 before anyone kind of like gave me some shade about what my career path was, like where it even occurred to me that what I was doing was different. And in that moment, I kind of realized like, oh, this, I guess like being a chocolatier and dedicating your life and like traveling all over to study about chocolate is maybe not what everybody is doing. But everybody had just been so supportive the whole way, like through this whole ride that it didn't occur to me that that was out of the ordinary or like something strange. So I think I think it's a carried away passion because of a very enthusiastically supportive chocoholic family.
Well, that's pretty sweet. So to
Yeah.
speak.
Good fun.
So you were what, 19 when you decided to sort of travel and learn more about chocolate?
Yeah, I was actually traveling. So my grandma was adopted by a Norwegian family, and I ended up living in Norway. We're culturally very Norwegian, even though you would never be able to tell. And so I was traveling and living in Norway with a bunch of friends, and we would go traveling to different places, and oftentimes people would sort of like, shout my trip or help me out with something. And so I would research where the best chocolate shop was in the places that we would go as a thank you to be able to buy something for friends that I was on a trip with, or just as an adventure, or something to contribute. And it was kind of hard at the time because it wasn't like you could just like look it up online so much. You had to do a little more digging at the time. And so I would dig and dig and dig, and then I'd be like, okay, this is the place. This is where we're going. And we went to this one chocolate shop, and it was in Amsterdam. And it was the first time I ever had chocolate where you could follow somebody's thought process through what they got to in order to make that for you. So it wasn't just like, oh, this is a cherry cordial, or, oh, this is like, I had thought that I had really good chocolate up until that point. And then in that moment, I realized like I had no idea what I was even talking about. And it just blew my mind. Like I'd always been a really, really creative kid, but never really had a medium. Like my mom is a welder, which is crazy and amazing. And my dad can like make anything out of wood. And my sister, I remember we'd be little and she would like draw Leonardo DiCaprio, and it would look just like Leonardo DiCaprio. and then I would like make stuff, but there was never something that I was like, oh, I understand how this works. And so when I had that one piece of chocolate, all of a sudden it all just sort of made sense. And that was it. It was like, I think up until then I had thought that maybe I wanted to open an ice cream shop because I grew up working at an ice cream shop. And I just love that interaction that you have with people when they're buying sweets. It's because it's not essential, it's like it's something special already. And so I think I thought that I was interested in ice cream, but in that one moment, I realized like, it's not ice cream, it's chocolate. It's definitely chocolate. And from that moment forward, it was just like, I was like hell-bent on this idea. But as soon as you get researching, like things start to come up about child slave labor and like things that are just shocking when you know nothing about the chocolate industry. And I realized right away that I had a responsibility if I wanted to do this in order to do something. I had an opportunity to make an impact in a positive way. And I think that's what took me so deep and dark down the rabbit hole, to be totally honest, is just to make sure that that however I was going to approach it, that I was going to do so intentionally and in a way that I felt like was sincerely good.
So you guys, I mean, I'm looking at your website and I'm like amazed by like the flavors and everything that you have, but you actually use sort of traditional techniques when you're making the chocolate, and then you create these sort of like, what I've noticed about the sort of flavors that I'm seeing you make with chocolates is something that I've seen donut shops doing more often lately, where they sort of create these sort of like flavors that you wouldn't think of, but they're sort of like flavors that we've always had. Do you know what I mean? Like cereal and
Yeah, totally. So I think Bon as a whole is all about rule bending. So the idea is that they're bonbons to start with. So truffles have really, really set rules, internationally accepted rules of like, it's round, it looks like a fungus, it's filled with ganache. Like there's expectations, but a bonbon has no internationally accepted definition, which is really fun, especially when we're traveling. We're going to like Ecuador or Colombia, where our cacao is grown. A bonbon does not mean at all what we call it. Like it's a sugar candy. And so it's like, by not having an internationally accepted definition, it means that we have the opportunity to make it whatever we want it to be, which means we can put bergamot with Fruity Pebbles if we feel like it, or we can, like it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly what you're expecting. And with that, I think we have a better opportunity to do some storytelling. Like where we make everything, where I am right now, is a place called Hamtramck. It's right inside of the city of Detroit. And it's one of the most diverse cities in the state, but it's only 2 square miles. So the people who live and work here, we're from all over. And it's really cool in terms of, it feels like drawing with all of the crayons, because we have one time we were coming up with like a spring flowers collection, and what everyone's idea of an edible flower was completely different. And that's pretty magical. Like, that's where it gets to be really, really fun, is you can say like, of course we can use that, but let's also dig into this, or like, how would they prepare that? Okay, like, tell me about that. And it lets us kind of dance around ideas that may seem really, really familiar, but might actually have nothing that's familiar about them.
I know. I'm like, first of all, looking at your website, I'm dying to get some chocolates because I have a huge sweet tooth. So like, you talk about sweets not being essential. I'm like, I can't imagine my life without them. But your chocolates look like so delicious, and like no chocolate I've ever encountered before. And I'm actually of Belgian descent, which is like known for chocolate. And so growing up, my grandma always had Belgian chocolate around the house, which I thought was so good, but I can still like, appreciate a Hershey's bar and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like
yeah.
My palate's not that advanced.
Yeah, definitely. It's just something it's something different. This is chocolate that's really intended to be an experience, and something that's intended to be shared. And when you come in, you pick out every piece in your box, and that's something you don't always get to do, is say like, I picked this out for you, and I picked out every single piece of it with what I think that you would like. And it's almost the most fun when somebody comes in and picks it out for themselves, because watching how it's almost easier to pick it out for somebody else than it is for you.
Yeah,
you know?
Like you have to make your mind up.
And it gets to be it's a really cool and special experience that you get to share with somebody when you're guiding them through a decision. And maybe that decision is like meeting somebody's parents for the first time, or maybe it's, who knows what, maybe they're going to Japan and you're traveling and you're bringing little gifts, and maybe you're going, it's a really, I always say being a chocolatier is somewhere in between being a bartender and being a jeweler. And you don't get like the little like cry in your beer moments, but you don't get the like I'm buying diamonds about it moments either. You just get something sort of in between. And I love the in between. And it makes it really, really special for our whole staff, because you never know who's walking in the door next, and you never know what you're going to be guiding them through. And sometimes it's special in the fact that it's not really remarkable and it's just fun. And sometimes it's special and you can't even believe that somebody involved you in that moment in their life, and then 5 minutes later they walk out the door and it's like, wow. So it's a fun, I can't imagine working in anything other than chocolate. And there's certainly a place for a good almond joy. I love almond joys, but like not what we're doing. What we're doing is something completely different, And I love what we do for the emotion behind it too.
That's beautiful. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back with more from Alex and Bon Bon Bon. And we're back with Alex from Bon Bon Bon. And you were talking about how special it is for people to pick out these chocolates. And I agree, like looking at your flavors and stuff, and you really got to think about what, honestly, when I was looking, I was like, I would love to send some to my mom for Christmas. And like, I was thinking about the stuff that she would like. And like, I think this is like a really great time to be opening a place in Ann Arbor, to be celebrating the holidays. And it's such a unique gift that you can give somebody, and it might be temporary, but it's something that I think they would remember for a long, long time to come.
Oh, we hope so. We totally hope so. And it's a dream to be in Ann Arbor. It's a dream to be at Nichols Arcade. Like, I think thinking of Bon 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 when we first opened, Nichols Arcade would have been like the far reach, can't even imagine how cool it would be location to be, just like so
Mhm.
romantic and cute. And it's still like shocking to be there. And especially going into the winter and having it all done up right now, it's just almost like too much.
Well, let's
Um,
backtrack a bit because you really did sort of have humble beginnings. You came back and you came to Hamtramck and you were working in a really small space, right?
yeah, we were working our shop and kitchen were in 650 square feet in the back room of the Hamtramck Coney Island, which is of course like our local diner down the street. And it's funny. It sounds so nice to call it humble beginnings, but that's not how it felt. It just felt like this. I don't know. It felt kind of embarrassing almost to be opening. I knew I wanted to make chocolate, but that's the only way that I started it the only way I could. And I think the thing I'm the most proud of Bon 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 is that we've always done the best we can with whatever resources we had. And that shop, you always had excellent service and we always had a good time and you always got really, really good chocolate. And yeah, like the outsides have gotten cuter and cuter over time as we've just like kind of grown up, like we're sort of like a teenage chocolate shop now. But um that service and the intention was always there. And now looking back on something that I thought was just so embarrassing in the beginning of being like, I can't believe, like I'm opening this right behind George's place. And like, we didn't even have a freezer and we had to borrow theirs. And like Pete was always, it was just like, there was too much going on. But now looking back, it's one of those things where it's exactly the way it was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
It
I
was
agree.
exactly the place to start. And I actually don't think without like the love and support of our neighbors, specifically like on that block, coming by and being like, you guys are still here. Have you eaten? Do you need spaghetti? Do you need like whatever they were making, I'm not sure if we would have survived up until this point. So it's
So
pretty
now
cool.
where
Yeah.
do you have three stores now? Is it three?
We have the brand new store in Nichols Arcade, and then we have one shop that's in Midtown Detroit, kind of by Third Man Records in Shinola, right there on Canfield. And then we have our downtown Detroit store, which we're actually closing in February. So we'll do Valentine's through there and then shut that one down. And of course, our manufactory in Hamtramck, which is closed to the public right now for COVID reasons, but yeah, hopefully we'll be open again soon for tours and for people to come in and see everything being handmade and hand packaged, which is certainly something that doesn't happen every day.
Well, for someone that's obviously tried all the chocolates, do you have like a top three that you would have people, just taste?
Oh, chocolate's so personal. So it depends when people come in, but I'll do like one dark, one milk, and one favorite white, just so we can cover everybody's sort of bases. My dark chocolate one is a tie between Cherry Luxe, which is like our take on a traditional cherry truffle situation. And it has Luxardo candied Michigan cherries, and then dark chocolate ganache and sanding sugar over the top, like a thick, coarse sugar. And so it's a little bit reminiscent of like a cherry cordial, but the cherry flavor that comes out is like if you're eating those, if you're eating the dried cherries out of the bag and then you get the one really good one, it's kind of like the whole thing is the one really good one.
Yeah.
It's really good. And then Mustachio, which is Moscato wine caramel with pistachio gianduja, which is gianduja is like, it's like a nut butter mixed with chocolate, but even finer and smoother. And so it's pistachio with white chocolate and then over this Moscato caramel in a dark chocolate shell, which is so good. And then my milk chocolate one is sticky bun, which is like that little middle bite of the sticky bun is our aim. Like, the middle bite is the best.
Yes, I literally made some cinnamon buns like a week ago, and I was like, we had a couple left at the end, and I was like, these are getting old, so I'm like, I'll just eat the middle part.
That's the most part. You can't let it go. Yeah. So that's the goal with that. We just take that and then have milk chocolate on the outside. And then my favorite white chocolate one is Killer Cereal, and it's a hard piece, and that's the one that has Fruity Pebbles, bergamot, and salt. And it sounds like a weird combination, but it is it's like a sleeper cult classic kind of bond. Like when you love it, you really, once you have it, once you're hooked, you can't stop.
I'm sure. I am so
And it's in
sure.
every box you build. Like,
So you do have like catering services and stuff too. So we could all go, buy some chocolates for ourselves, for our family for Christmas and stuff. But if you were, let's say, getting married or having hopefully a gathering post COVID, but
yeah, totally. So we do, and we can ship them too if it's just little, if it's in lieu of a celebration that you're hoping to have. We've been doing a lot of that too, is sending the favors anyway with little love notes. But yeah, so we do parties. I actually think weddings are our favorite because we get to be a little personalized about people's favorite picks. And we ship all over the world. So you can order online, you can come in the store, you can order large amounts or small amounts. I mean, our minimum is one. And you can build your box to order. So no matter what the order is, you can totally customize it to whether it's like a price point or just an intention or a collection that you want to put together. We make it pretty personalized. If it's not personal like that, it's just not as much fun. So
Well, you mentioned anyone around the world could order your chocolates, but right here in Ann Arbor, we can actually come visit the storefront and see the chocolates for ourselves and sort of
yes.
like really get a good idea and pick out what we want. Why should we take advantage of your location in Nichols Arcade?
The people are so good. Like there's something about, so we use Human Element, which is another Ann Arbor company. So I'm not throwing them under the bus with this, but there's something you can't capture in a website that is so magical about walking. You really get to be a kid in a candy store. And it really is it's really tailored to making it something special and to customizing it, which it is online too. So online you can do the same thing, but you just can't replicate that personal one-on-one guide that stands with you the whole way and is building your box for you or helping with suggestions or there as a shoulder to cry on for whatever it is that you need chocolate for, depending on what it is. Like there's something about having that person there, and there's something about taking that break from your day and being able to have your biggest challenge for those 5 to 10 minutes be picking out what chocolate you want to eat. That's pretty magical. That's like luscious.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer, and remember to like, comment, and share. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.